Hello there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your monthly reading. I hope that everything has gotten off to a great start for you, and as always, I can't wait to see what's coming through in the reading today. Now, for those of you that are new, let me just run through the format here. First of all, you can use this for your sun, your rising, and your moon if you happen to know all three. Otherwise, you can just focus on this as your sun reading. Additionally, I like to break this down into three major parts. I start off with channeled information. Then I move along to an overview, which is a Celtic cross, and then I expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Let's start off first with that channeled information. Every month I meditate before I do the reading, and for each sign I pick up on thoughts, vibrations, and sometimes words that help really cast a wide net over what the month is going to hold for you. As I was focusing on you, your message was really not to leave any rock or leaf unturned. Your diligence and attention to detail will be rewarded, and I think also essential in some cases. You might find something that you've lost, or you might catch something that you don't want to let other people see, like a small error or a detail. So really focus on the diligence this month and your attention to detail. You'll be thanking yourself and me hopefully later. So just pay attention to that and see how that pans out for you. Let's go ahead now and give the cards a nice shuffle, and during this portion I'm normally quiet while I lay out the Celtic cross. Additionally, I like to look at a catalyst card, which I feel connects everything in front of us. So we have the Priestess of Cups here, which for you is really showing you that it's important for you to follow your heart, to express your creativity this month. But when I see the word priestess, I also see a connection with the High Priestess here, which is that you want to focus on intuition this month. What you feel is right, what you feel is wrong. I don't want you to waver on this. It's really important for you to trust yourself and to let that internal compass that you already have, all of us have it, we're all psychic to a degree. I want you to allow that to be your guidepost this month. Your central card is the Father of Wands card here. And what this is showing me for some of you is an unveiling or an unraveling of a thought process for you. We have right on top of it Ace of Pentacles. So this is very fortunate and very optimistic for anybody that's looking to try to get a business partnership, a new job, share a big idea, and maybe have someone buy into it. I really love that you have Ace of Pentacles right at the center, showing me that you shouldn't doubt yourself. In fact, for some of you, I just feel like there's a reluctance or hesitation when it comes to sharing your ideas with other people. And if that's the case, just make sure you trust who you're talking to, or that you get some sort of protection, a legal document, a non-disclosure agreement, or something like that in place. As I'm looking at Deep Past, I feel like many of you are recovering. The first part of the month is either catching your breath or feeling like if there was anybody that sort of took the wind out of you, the first week you're starting to get your energy back. We have the Ten of Swords here. It's in reverse, so that's showing me healing, recovery, and separation from any sort of anxiety, stress, particularly when it comes to stressful situations. What this is going to allow you to do is to focus more on business, opportunity, and we have two great money cards here. We have Ace of Pentacles and Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune's in the near past here, and this is in the crossing position. So what I'm seeing here is new business opportunities, because we have the Fool card here too. So the Ace of Pentacles is connecting Wheel of Fortune and the Fool. The Fool is about taking risks. This card was reversed, but what I see with this is a chance for you to spread your wings. Some of you might be deciding that this is the first time you can do something that you really care about, or that you might be taking that first step in a direction of talking about something new, exciting. There's always a little risk with the Fool, but there's also great opportunity. The Fool can also be about you wanting or needing to find something that gives you more opportunity and freedom in your life. So if you're feeling kind of caged in or painted in by your present job situation or living situation, this card is showing you that the timing may be off right now, but it does feel like this is on the horizon for you. Doing something just for yourself, doing something that feels good and that really feeds your heart and soul. As we look at your crowning position here, we have a transformative Two of Pentacles. Now, the card was in reverse, but I still see this as a positive card. This is telling me that your key element to success this month is finding balance. Balance between opportunity and risk. Balance between work and between having fun and sleep and being productive. So I want you to strike a better balance this month. And in doing so, particularly the sleep portion, because when I see a butterfly, I think chrysalis, I think metamorphosis. The only way that happens is the butterfly goes dormant for a while and then change happens. So some of you may have rushed through the process a little bit. I want you to take your time this month. See where there are opportunities to fix, to mend, to sit with something for a little bit. Because overall your financial situation seems like it's better than it emotionally feels for some of you, with perhaps new money or new flows of revenue coming in to your life this month. Let time and energy sort of just sit with you for a second before you make a big decision. Now, when I'm looking at what's affecting your general energy this month, your ego card is one of wanting to step away from things and follow your own path. So we have here the Seven of Wands, which is a card where you're more than capable of doing what you need or want to do. In fact, this is usually almost the quintessential card for multitasking. It's someone who can balance everything at once, doesn't need help, but sometimes they should ask for help. I would say this month, think about what it is you truly care about. If there's any room for delegation, or if there's anything that might be somewhat taking you off path, think about letting go of that or giving that to someone else. Also kind of take a look at your life around you. Take stock and think, is all of this still necessary? So this could extend to even your surroundings, because I do sometimes get a sense of clutter with this card. And what's important is once you take that away, then the clarity comes, then you have that beautiful bright light. And so I want you to look around and think, what can I get rid of in my life? Both physical, symbolic, and then also anything with relationships and personalities. Pare apart all of that and get down to the basics again. Then you're going to have a clearer sense of what's important. And again, don't be afraid to ask for help this month. I want you to pay close attention to people that you work with, and particularly those who you have this inkling that you need to check up on them, or there might be something going on. This is where I don't want you to leave a rock unturned. We have this, I like the illustration on this card because it can involve something happening that someone's trying to get away with something, or there could be something sneaky. So what you want to do is just be very transparent in expectations. You want to be very on top of things. Make sure that if you're signing anything, that you understand all of the pieces of the contract. And also, if you're responsible for something, if your name goes on things, you want to make sure that you understand who's making the decisions and what's going on. This is not saying that you have to micromanage. Just take that internal gut check and think, do I trust everyone? And is there one person that may need a little bit more time or help? Or maybe they're filling in over their head and they're afraid to ask because there is a sense of being shy. It's not just the sly fox, but sometimes it's sort of, I don't know what to do, I can figure it out. Someone that's overestimating their ability to take care of something. So for those of you that are parents or managers and you have someone in your life that has a hard time asking for help, they want to be right all the time, or they may think that they're right, that card is letting you know that in this case, you probably know better, so don't be afraid to ask questions. We have the Mother of Swords card here in reverse, and this is in hopes and fears. So there's a little bit of concern or a little bit of uneasiness this month with verbal communication, perhaps even written. So what you want to do is measure your words carefully. Really pick and choose the words that are going to have the best impact. And, if there's something that you have to say, being very direct with someone, maybe you have another person listen to you and you can practice it a little bit just to make sure that what you say isn't taken as overly critical and not constructive. The outcome card is the Five of Swords. This is a combination, especially as this one's illustrated, of growth and loss, and you have to pick between the two. And with the Five of Swords cards, I don't want you to sort of look and think of everything that maybe you've done wrong before. Think of how much you've learned, what you can do. Focus instead on how you can change things around, because I think this is your comeback month, if you will. If there was anything that was pulling you back from the past, you have a chance now to transform it into something better, particularly with what I'm seeing here as a really great opportunity. And also, I like the fact that the Ace of Pentacles here is shown as like rings on a tree. Each lesson in life, each opportunity, each mishap, each joyful and wonderful event creates more history, and it gives you more depth of knowledge. And so I want you to see everything that's happened in the previous months as just building character. And now you're stronger because of it, just like this trunk is stronger because of the 100 or so years that it's been around here. So so change around that perception a little bit. And let's now expand the forecast, and we'll take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And then we'll revisit this central spread as needed, and of course at the end when we review it. We'll start off with the health card. I always view health as an all-inclusive mind, body, and spirit message. Let's go ahead and see what that message is for you this month. So for health, we have persistence, not giving up. And so I want you to take a look at what's important to you. If you've been setting goals to be more active, if you've decided to eat better, if you've decided that you just want to maintain the positive strides that you've made, this card is saying really you're going to be rewarded if you continue on the path. You may not see immediate returns on it, but knowing that consistency and honoring your goal is what's going to pay off in the long run. So maybe what's going to be helpful for you is if you are trying to do some sort of an improvement, if it's taking care of what's inside, maybe you could keep track of the numbers. Look at your blood pressure over time, look at your weight over time, look at sort of like any of the blood work that you have done at the doctor, and then look again in another 6 months. See how it's moving, take snapshots in time, and then just stay on path. Because sometimes we need the before and after or the progress to see, yeah, it was worth it. But I want you just to, at this point in time, keep focusing on it and trust that positive strides are going to have positive results. And for some of you, with the Ten of Swords card, I have to mention this. This is particularly persistent pain. It can be pain in the spine. It can also be in the kidney area, because when I'm looking at the back, it's hard to sort of figure out where that could be for some of you. But whatever or joint issues, whatever your chronic pain is, or whatever your persistent issue is, what's important is to stick to some sort of a positive path towards recovery. And I do think you can do that. Balance, moderation, and again, a transformative effect because of that. Okay, now let's take a look at your wealth card. Wealth includes all sorts of opportunities, but specifically with money, work, stability in those areas. Okay, actually I had a card that just flew out, so I'm going to honor that one. So we have the second chakra, which is all about the creativity in your life. It's the sexual chakra. So it's power, it's creativity. And for you, when we're looking at money, it's about how can you be more creative with your money, creative budgeting. And the other piece of this, though, is since it's in the sexual chakra, this is about not giving in to urges or tendencies. So sometimes if we're not feeling great, it might be, okay, retail therapy. This isn't the month to do that, particularly with the Two of Pentacles in your crowning position. Even though you may come into new money or the money situation may improve, I want you to have that same sort of diligence that you're seeing here in your health card in your money as well. Start to put together something that makes sense and focus less on desires and more on how can I stretch this money out to accomplish everything that I want it to. And for some of you, you might be investing in yourself into a company or something with the Ace of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. I love the Wheel of Fortune here. One thing that I'm going to highlight with that, though, again, we're going to look at this real quick, with respect to the Two of Pentacles, it could take a full year. For me, the wheel is one entire rotation around the sun. And you see the sun here right at the bottom here. So I want you to give yourself time to make the strides that you need. see this, we have the Fool card, which is attached to 0, as a chance to reset, to start anew, and give yourself a year to get into a different financial space. I think that's going to be really important. Let's now take a look at your relationships. Relationships include, of course, the most important one, which is how you feel about yourself. It can include love relationships and family and friends. Let's see what the message for love overall is for you. So your card this month is Navigating by the Stars. When I see this, it's about listening to the little signposts or reading the signposts along the way. When I think of an astrologer, they look at the sky to make sense of things, but they're paying attention to the stories in the sky, the shapes of the constellations, and also understanding the relationships of those to other things. So what I'm looking at here for you, for relationships, is looking at, is everything adding up? Does it make sense? What is the overall picture of all of the cumulative events and all of the feelings? So when we look at a constellation or a galaxy, they're bigger clusters of things. I want you to look at the galaxy of your relationship, or the constellation of your relationship. What does the shape look like? What does it feel like to you? Is it something that's bright, or is it murky and kind of a mess? So you already know where you stand with relationships. This card is saying for some of you, that means you're going to step out on your own and maybe look for something that feels truer. Some of you may be really happy with the shape of the relationship, in which case the two of you truly are blessed, your soulmates and your deep star partners here as well. So follow your bliss if that's the case. But if not, don't be afraid to step out and to search for something that really matters for you. When I'm looking at love, the other part of this, because we're talking about internal love and internal exploration, this is really about what is your own desire, what is your purpose on the planet. Something that I'll ask people in a reading sometimes, and it paralyzes them, because so often we just think of, where do you want to live, or, what's your job title, but nobody asks you, if you could do anything in the world, what would you do? What's the effect that you want to have on the planet? What's your life purpose? I want you to think about this a little bit over the course of this next month, and whether or not you're in a relationship, this is going to help you understand who you are better so that you can be a better partner, either now or in the future. Let's take a look now at your Destiny card. For me, Destiny always involves your GPS, your internal free will, your ability to sort of look at where you're headed and decide, is this something that I want to continue doing? For you, I have the Hawk Prince here, which says, really focus on spirit communication and paying attention to the little signs. And that's really why I had that channeled information at the beginning. Things are going to come in a subtle way. When you start to experience more with your own psychic gifts, if this is something you're interested in, I'm going to give you a little tidbit. It doesn't always come bombastically as a voice from above or as a bright flash of intuition. Sometimes literally you'll get a whisper in your ear, a clairaudient whisper. Sometimes you just get a persistent thought. Sometimes you are just drawn to do something or look at something. These subtle nudges, these whispers, these little pushes in the right direction this month that are really quiet and very subtle, that's your guides. Those are your guides. Those are your angels. That's the universe pushing you in the right direction. That's why I want you to really tune in, to home in, to not leave anything unturned and see what's coming through. The more quiet you are, the more open you are, the more you're going to perceive. So with that being said, I also feel like you're headed in the right direction here with the Hawk Prince, as long as you don't lose sight of what you want. A hawk is very clear with its vision, so I want you to be also clear with what you're trying to accomplish. Let's go ahead and review everything that we talked about, starting off with the channeled information. Again, leave no rock or leaf unturned. Really focus on being diligent and know that attention to detail will be rewarded this month. Your catalyst card was the Priestess of Cups, which reminded me of the High Priestess, knowing that your creative side is going to connect you to your psychic side. So I want you to focus on expression this month. Find ways to express your talent, your gifts, even your frustration. Do that through art, through sports, and through other creative endeavors. When we're looking at your central cards here, I see that last month or the last quarter of the year, it feels like there was things that you had to sort of release, let go of. Some of you may even be coming through some sort of an upset or a heartbreak, but that's not what this month is about. In fact, we have two opportunities, or an opportunity that's going to have multiple positive effects for you over the course of this year. We have the Ace of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. It's touching the King of Wands or Father of Wands card reverse. So you want to stay open-minded, and you want to share some of these ideas with people that you trust. I do see a sense of breaking free, but you have to wait for the right time for this. It feels like you're about a month off for those of you that want to quit a job or start something new. The money situation is a little bit in flux this month, but there's so many great opportunities coming through that I see this as your quote-unquote comeback month. I want you to declutter in relationships, in environment, really in a 360-degree view of your world. Try to take out the unnecessary so that you can focus on what's important. If there's someone in your life that thinks they know best, but you know that there's probably a need for them to be watched, then keep an eye on them. Also, if you think that there's anyone that you just don't trust, it's important to be transparent. Talk to them. If you have to be firm, be firm. Practice with someone if you want to make sure that you remain constructive in that. Don't second guess your instincts this month. That's really what the Five of Swords is saying. And also know that you're moving towards a better path than what you were on before. So there's some sacrifice, there's some opportunity. The earthworm on these cards is really about growth and fertility. And so that's what I see the future holding for you. As we look at your health card, don't give up. We have this persistence card. Keep working at whatever your goals are. Know that you don't always get that immediate feedback, but that doesn't make it any less effective. When we're looking at your wealth card, again, attached to the second chakra, which is a tricky chakra. It's good in that it's highly creative. So for those of you that are feeling this wonderful passion coming through, put that into your art, put it into your work. Find a way to get excited about what you want. That kind of passion is great. If, however, it's bubbling over into your spending habits and you may not be able to control certain things, you want to take those sort of urges or those sort of tendencies and pull them back a little bit. Trust yourself as you're navigating your own heart relationships this month, either with yourself or with others. If it feels good, stick with it. If it doesn't, it's your chance to move in a direction that makes you happy. Look at the shape of the relationship. I talked a lot about galaxies and constellations, but the whole purpose of that is really to kind of stand back, take a bird's eye view and think, how are we together? Does it feel good? And if you're on this journey alone, there's nothing wrong with that either. This says follow your bliss, so it's whatever makes you happy. All right, as we look at your destiny card, the hawk portion of this is saying, I want you to really look for things that are important in your life and go after them. A hawk hunts. It's not afraid to go after things, but it also knows what it's looking for. I want you to focus on listening and paying attention. It literally says pay attention here. And the universe speaks in such a subtle way that you can miss it if your ego is too big or if you're talking too much. You need some quiet time this month to really allow for the universe to communicate with you. So that brings this monthly reading to a close. But if you'd ever like to chat more about a change in your life or about something else that's going on, you can take a look at my rates and availability and see if that's something that makes sense. The first link is that. It's a link to my scheduling site. The second link is a way that you can support me if you like videos like this. And there are a lot of ways to do that, either a one-time donation or a recurring one in amounts as little as $1. All of these cards and the internet access and the cost of production, it all adds up. So if you want to support and say thanks, I'd love for you to do that. The third link will allow you to connect with me on all social networks. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a newsletter, and of course I'm here, but that address will break it all down, and it's a great way to stay in touch if you'd like. Finally, and most importantly, I really just like to say thank you each month and bring this to a bigger purpose other than just looking at what's coming through in a 28 to 31 day period. What I'm trying to do right now is to kind of inspire people to be light workers, to be awake, to be consciously aware. And I've talked before about how as each one of us wake up, it's like light bulbs or a string of lights or a chain of light that's happening here on the planet. Some of us are growing a little taller and a little brighter, like lighthouses. But this month, that doesn't matter. What really is important is that you reach out to someone else, possibly someone that's in the dark, and just show them love, show them light. It can be a small thing, but make it unconditional. That's the important element here. That's going to bring you an opening within your heart space, and you may change someone's life just by smiling, hugging them, taking some time and saying you care. And in the spirit of unconditional love, I want to let you know that I care about you and that I'm so proud of the journey that you've made. Thank you for allowing me to be part of it. Keep working hard. Wishing you love, light, and abundance now and always. See you soon.